Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now we're going to start doing our build for the custom water loop. So first things first, we're going to have to undo all the work that we did before. So let's get into it. Hey guys, so as you can see, we have the PC here ready to basically undo all of the hard work we did in the past few videos. We just need to get everything out, get the whole motherboard out, get all the fans, and as well sort out the rat's nest that is the cable management. So we've got some custom cables so that we can make it a bit nicer, because with these Lee strimmer cables, using the full length ones just makes a lot of mess at the back. But let's get into undoing all of this and getting everything out of here, and then we can start on doing the custom loop.
A few moments later.
Hey guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I'm sat down for this bit. I figured that would be easier because we have our Dark Hero board right here, but I need to, as you can see here, we've got these heat sinks here, but I've got this monoblock. So I need to take off all of this, take off these heat sinks. I'll probably have to just disconnect this a bit as well, just so I can get in there, and put all of the thermal pads on there, so that then when it's seated, it's all good to go. So let's start doing this bit then, shall we? So first I'll take off the this plate thing, because we don't need this. Cryo to go onto the CPU. We'll also use this for the other water blocks, so that we just get them done. Let's pick this up. Now this should be plenty for us. This is actually a pain in the arse to do. No, don't do that. Right guys, there we have it. We have our monoblock all well and truly attached. Isn't going anywhere. It was an actual ball ache to do. I didn't realize how much of an ache it would be, but it's done, it's dusted. So let's get on with adding the rest of the things we need to add to this motherboard, so that we can start putting it into the case. Right guys, so we've got the motherboard all ready now. So now we can put it in the case and then start on with the radiators and all of that. So I will be right back.
A few minutes later.
Welcome back guys. So I'm all stood up again after that, not tedious, but you know, it was a bit trying to put that monoblock on. So I am sort of dreading doing the 3090s, but I said I'm going to do NVLink and I'll do it. But for now, let's get this motherboard into the case so it's all ready for us to start getting the radiators and everything in there. I've already taken everything out of the case, so it's actually quite light now. All the standoffs are already there anyway. What I am going to do is I'm just going to give it a quick wipe just to get rid of some of the dust that we have in here. You know, start afresh and all that. Now you would have seen, so you might have seen, I took out both of the hard drive trays for now. It just gives me a bit more room to work with when doing the build, because, well, first I couldn't get the power supply out because it's so big, and it's just better to do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to lie this down because it's just easier for me to do the motherboard like that. And so I'll get this in there now. Let's move this cable out of the way. I don't want to hide that anywhere. Let's get this into position. All right, first let me take off the peely bit. Ooh, I don't want to get to it. Oh, you're kidding me? It broke. That's annoying. All right, let's try and do this properly. There we go. So the peely bit is gone. Don't need that anymore. It's all sticking to me as well. All right, so let's get these into the right place. Okay, I think that's there, set on all the standoffs. So let's get this screwed in. There we go. All right, there you have it, guys. All in. Nicely done, that. Quite nice and tidy as well. So I have to figure out how I'm going to put all of the RGB fittings. I'm going to guess that this one goes like this, so it's out of the way. But we will see. So yeah, so that's sorted there. The next step is getting all of these radiators ready. So I have all of them here. So what will happen is we will have one down here, one up top, like so. This one will go up here. And then we will have this one on the opposite side here, so that we can get the fans in as well. Now I'm hoping this works because I have planned it out like this, but we know what happened to my plans last time. But it fits perfectly there, so that's fine. is the bottom radiator done. Pop that to the side. We can do the top radiator, and the fan. Where are the fans gone? I've misplaced the fans for the top radiator. What have I done with them? Oh, there they are. Silly me. Let's take this off for now. Now, those ones are set up like that, so these ones need to be set up like this. It needs to be done like this, because we can't do anything right. So, let's pop these on in. These ones aren't as dusty because they're on the top, so they're actually quite clean. Let me get the other screws again. Now, I'm not going to put the radiators in just yet because they're all of the cables I will need to be running. So I don't really want to do that as of yet. That is very tight. Whew. Yep, definitely need to get everything in there before I do any of that. Right. So we're pulling air in and through this way. So this one is going to go slap bang there. And for this, I need to figure out where the tubes are going to go. So one set of fans will be on the back of here. So we will get our Noctua fans. Will it fit? I don't think it will. No. Okay. So no, we're not going to be able to use the Arctic fans, but we will be able to use the Noctua fans. So I'm actually going to have to get some different screws for these because these are way too long. They're made for 25mm fans, and these are 15mm. And let's get this out of the way as well. So this one we'll have to revisit. I need to go and get some more screws, so I'll sort of halt the video for now until we get those additional parts for the radiators at least. What I will do though is get all of the cables run so that we've got that all sorted. You know, that way it's all done and dusted in terms of cables having their place, because otherwise it's going to be, as you see, with the radiators in there, there's not a lot of space. So let's just get these things tied up. Leave that there for now.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So guys, welcome back. We've got most of the motherboard and everything set up. I've done a few of the cable runs. So at the back you will see it's a complete mess, but I just wanted to run as many of the cables as I could, because once I get the radiators in, the top and the bottom, space to work with is going to be a bit difficult. So I've made sure all the ones at the bottom that I need are connected, all the ones at the top, apart from the Lian Li fans, are connected. So those are all set up, ready to go. But now, just so that I can start getting the radiators in and everything, I'm going to put in the distribution block. So this is a hefty thing, and let's put it in. There you have it. The block is in. And let's just route some of these cables around the top. So guys, I'm just going to check with these fans to see whether we can actually fit them in here, because it is very tight. And what I might actually have to do is only do 2 of them like we did in the original build, which will be a bit annoying, but it's still a good amount of fans. Right. So we're going to have to rethink that. I don't really want to lose the ability to use these fans. So we'll have to have a think about that. But for now, let's get the radiators in. And we should be getting there into actually getting this completely sorted then.
One eternity later. What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage. 6.5 hours later.
Welcome back, guys. As you can see, we have pretty much completed all of the water tubing bends and fittings and everything. We've made a few changes. I didn't realise it was a 3-slot difference between these two cards, so I'm going to have to get a new NV link, as the one that I've currently got is a 4-slot NV link, because I think I've gone a bit ambitious with these two massive radiators. So the actual space that I've got to work with is actually quite a lot smaller than I thought it was, even though this is such a massive case. But we've got all the thermal take fittings on there. We've got the 2 water blocks all sorted out. Everything is connected up nicely. And now we're just ready to start filling it. So we've got our Mystic Fog cryo-fuel stuff that we're using. So I've just got the concentrate, so I've just mixed it with a bit of distilled water. Just like 250 ml of this to 750 ml distilled water. So yeah, so let's get filling. Now I've already cleaned out bits of the loop, but I haven't done a full test of the whole loop yet. So I have put all of the paper there just in case. Now as well, if you notice in the top, because of this radiator, I haven't actually been able to use the top radiator fittings, so I've had to use stoppers on those. Right guys, I will get this finished and then I'll see you in a bit.
A few moments later.
One minute, 37 seconds later.
Hey guys, so welcome back. As you can see, we have finished the build. It wasn't the most straightforward build that I've ever done. It was difficult. I mean, first I didn't realise that I had to connect every single one of the ports on the distribution block. I thought if I wasn't using the top radiator ports that they would be fine, but after a bit of trial and error and wondering why the loop wouldn't fill, and it just seemed to go to a certain amount, I found that yeah, it was that. So I fixed the with just a U-shaped bend in there. It wasn't too bad to do. I mean, for my first time doing tube bending, you know, with the heat gun and everything, it wasn't that bad. The main issues came around the fittings. I mean, you can see it behind you. There is a lot of RGB, but not as much as there would have been if I managed to get the thermal take RGB fittings to work. They were just not playing. I mean, I had to do it so that I connected 2 sets of them together, and for whatever reason it wouldn't light up all of them. So in the end I was just like, look, if one set of you are going to work and the other aren't, then I'm not going to bother having you as RGB. So they're still in there, they're still there as fittings, but they're not RGB, which is a bit annoying. Also, in the way I was building it, I connected everything up, and only when I started filling the loop, I found that sort of the 90-degree fitting that's on the CPU block wasn't machined out. It was just, I don't know what had happened, but it was like that both connections were done fine, but there was a massive piece of like metal that looked as if it needed to be machined out. So I had to get that RMA'd and get a new one in. But while doing that, I foolishly tried to help the water flow because I didn't realise there was an issue there. And the gasket on one of the GPU blocks slipped. So I've actually had this running for quite a while now. And it was only, in the past few weeks where I kept noticing the water level just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And then trying to investigate where it was, I checked all of the fittings. All the fittings were fine. Even the little connection I've got for the GPU blocks was working fine. And then it turns out it was the top GPU. And so from somewhere on there, that it was just water was dripping from the screw. So I left it for a while because I really didn't want to like empty the loop. And I was looking around, seeing if, is there a way that I can fix it without, undoing everything and emptying it out. But I mean, there was this amount of space to actually work with to even try and get underneath anything. And so it was just like, bite the bullet, empty it. So it got all emptied, undid the GPU block, resat the gaskets, and now it's been running for a couple of weeks, and the water level's gone down a bit after the first bit, but I think that's just getting all the air bubbles out because I haven't seen any sort of the telltale watermarks or anything like that underneath. Because the way that I managed to sort of find it was that when it was it was really weird when it was running really high, so the fan was going and the pumps were going like when I was gaming. That's when the leak happened. And I guess the flow of water just bypassed the gasket or something. I don't know. And so I found it there and there was water underneath. But now it's all fine. It's working fine. I've done a bit of optimization on the motherboard to sort of get the fans and the pump not making too much noise. So it only ramps up when there's a lot of effort going on. So temperatures are all right. This room is quite a warm room anyway, so the temperatures aren't going to look as good as, say, if you looked at what Linus was doing with a similar sort of thing, because his is mostly in a open space that isn't heated or as contained as this. But no, it's been an experience. I don't know if I would do it again. I might do, I won't do, so what I will not do is be as ambitious as I have here. What I have found is the radiators are just too big. I mean, I chose for top and bottom radiators, they're just way too big. Also, I didn't realise that I wouldn't be able to get in that second radiator. Not the second, third. So that third radiator, because of the space that the distribution plate takes up. So I'd do it a lot differently. I could have probably fit in all of the radiators if I hadn't used the distribution block. If I'd used something a bit smaller, or it would have worked. But no, I think definitely smaller radiators. If I was ever to do it again, probably use different fans. So, I mean, on this one, it looks all right. You can sort of see the side bits of the Lian Li fans, but obviously they released the new fans and I think they would probably make this look even better, especially if you'd have them up on the side. But no, you sort of learn from it. So I've got a radiator left over. Those Noctua fans are still left over. So what I'll actually do with them is I'm planning on a VR build. So we've got our downstairs living room that we want to have a VR machine set up, but it's you know those IKEA square, what's it called, the square bookcases. So we've got that downstairs, and what I'm going to do is we've got the insert that we use, and so I'm going to essentially convert that into a PC. So convert the whole thing. So we'll get the plastic mounts and everything for because we've still got the other motherboard to use, so we can use that. You know, then it's just a matter of getting the GPU and the processor and RAM as well, actually. So yeah, it'll be a big project for later on, but that's what we'll do next. We'll also look at doing sort of a air-conditioned sort of setup, so using coolant rather than water cooling. That way, and that would mostly be for the server side of setup, so it'll be hidden away, it'll be noisy, and, you know, we don't have to listen to it. But I want to test out that with like essentially sub-zero or whatever we can get. So, you know, guys, it's been a very long video. I mean, this has taken a lot of time. I thought it would be a lot quicker, but we're here, we've done it, it's working, and it's stable now, so we're all happy with that. Our next few videos are going to be around artificial intelligence, so, you know, sort of describing what it is, how small businesses can use it as well, and there'll be a lot more about our Keel project as well that we ran. So there'll be a series of that coming up, so please do like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. We will get that out as soon as possible, and I will see you in the next one.